So, Mark Freeman, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I know I bug you and text you saying, hey, you want to come to this event? Want to come to this?
Yeah.
But you're just so involved in Mesa, and you really put yourself out there with like the community. So I love that. But I want all my listeners to know your background, your story, where you come from. So I'll let you take the floor.
Well, thank you, Melissa. You know, it's good to visit with somebody from Lehigh, actually, where we live today. Your parents still live there. You know, once you have been in Lehigh, you kind of relish that way of life, and just kind of, it's a little slower out there, which is, you know, in other parts of the community it's a little busier. But thank you for having me on your podcast, because it's awesome. You know, one of the things I grew up, and just about myself, grew up in Mesa. One of my grandfathers, I'll use the grandfather word, was the founder of Mesa in 1878. So our family's been here for like 146 years on my mother's side, or the maternal side.
Wow.
And so it's been really something to see Mesa grow as a young boy. And when I grew up, we grew up in a farming family. So farming was our way of life. And so you pretty much worked with your family.
Yeah.
And then we hired a lot of Hispanic and Native Americans on our farm, because that agriculture was the primary economic driver in our community back then.
Was that in Lehigh though, where like you, from when you were born, you've been in Lehigh?
I have been quasi in Lehigh and in Mesa as well. So part of our property was outside of Mesa back in the day, but on North Center Street by the Mesa Cemetery. So it was not in the city back when I grew up until it was annexed into the city. And then eventually, as we built our homes, my wife and I, we moved to build in Lehigh.
Yeah.
So consequently today, Mesa is a really big city. Lehigh is a part of it, established in 1877, and Mesa was established in 1878. And that's where one of my grandfathers came in to, and his son-in-law, the Pomeroys, the Robesons, the Chrismans, and Sarines, other families came in.
All those famous streets that run through downtown Mesa.
Yeah, and those were the founders of Mesa. Ironically, Mesa was created by getting water to the Mesa. So water, they had to go clear out to Val Vista and the river bottom, north of the 202 freeway in Val Vista. And they put in these brush and dirt dams, and they diverted the water into Mesa using the historic Hohokam canals. And they actually widened them and made them bigger so they could carry more water. And then back then they didn't have any money, so you got paid by script. Script was a piece of paper. Hey, Melissa, you worked so many hours. Here's what we owe you. And in lieu of being paid that, you were entitled to some acreage in downtown Mesa. And so a lot of them would earn their keep and their lands by script and by earning by labor and work.
That's amazing. I want a script. It's hard to find some Lehigh acreage or downtown Mesa. It's hard to find a good deal these days.
Yeah, and just on that note, finishing up, you know, they worked by mule and horse and with their scrapers and hands and, you know, shovels, and it was very hot, difficult work. So the Mesa pioneers came in 1878 and got Mesa. So the Lehigh pioneers were in 1877. Okay, that's founded Lehigh. Then the Mesa pioneers came in 1878 and founded Mesa. And they were miles apart, not like it is today. And so they got water to the Mesa, and that helped start Mesa back in the day.
That's amazing. How do you remember all of this? Like, do you have a photographic memory?
I guess when you live, eat, and breathe that, and you know your family members did that, it means it's personal. And so, ironically, Mesa was developed and grown, you know, just because of the faith and perseverance of those early pioneers. And water is the key to everything in our growth, and we can talk about water and economic development and growth, in, you know, as you want.
We will. But that's part of like my draw to always including you in community events and whatnot, because you have this natural essence of that. You have this love for Mesa that it's just like, it's almost like you don't have a choice. Like it's like founded in you, right? So yeah, I think that's like you're saying why you remember all these stories and whatnot. You were embedded.
Well, thank you, because I live, eat, and breathe Mesa.
Yeah.
And it's part of my DNA, like a lot of great, family, like yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, you're part of Mesa as well.
Yeah.
You haven't left Mesa totally. Your parents are still here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
other family members.
Right.
And Mesa has grown so much, probably when I remember, Mesa was probably 35, 40,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is today?
Oh crap! I need to know this.
520,000, let me help you.
I was
140
gonna say
square
that.
miles. Huge.
It's huge. The potential that Mesa has is also huge because of that, right? It's like what, 30th?
Sixth,
6?
36th.
36?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. Biggest city in the
Yeah.
nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so you born and raised in Lehigh, which by the way, do you get like I do where I say, oh, I'm from Lehigh, and then people always say, Utah? And I say no. And then I have to explain kind of, and like, well, you used to can go down Lehigh Road from Gilbert Road, and then my senior year, the 202 came through. Do you get that a lot, or?
It depends on the audience, because a lot of people will go, well, I know where Lehigh is.
Yeah.
I guess it has its premonition, it was there, and then Mesa. And if they don't know where Lehigh is, well, I said it's in north central Mesa.
Okay, that's fair.
You know.
Well, and there's Lehigh Crossing now, and we have like I think it's maybe my age. I don't know. We'll tell the audience. I went to school with your daughter in elementary, so I'm her age. But for me,
That's young.
I
you're
know
really
we're so
young.
young.
Yeah.
Can you believe we're 40?
No, I can't.
Yes, you look at your wife. I know. I don't. I'm like I'm 20. It's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. Like almost like well. I'm the true Lehigh, like Lehigh Crossing's new, so it's funny to have our little sections. You can tell when someone has moved to Mesa by like how they describe Lehigh, I think. Like, oh, I've been there on Bell Vista and McDowell, like.
That's East Lehigh.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And it's now called, we have Lehigh Crossings, and then the other development there is called Pioneer Crossings.
Okay.
So there's a new development by Blanford Homes and other developers
Yeah.
there, by Jalapeno Bucks.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to have both crossings there, and there's about 1,500 rooftops going to be there.
Okay. So how does someone come up with like what does that look like for the builders to like Pioneer Crossing? Who came up with that name? What's that process?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that. So when I was working with the landowners and the developers and the zoning attorneys, actually I said to them, you should name it Pioneer Crossings because the actual pioneers crossed right over there.
Yeah.
And so it's very close. So the actual Pioneer Crossing for the Mesa Pioneers was like a half a mile away.
Yeah. I had a feeling you might have had something to do with it.
Well, it just worked out that way because then they go, that name, that whole thing fits.
Yeah.
So you can separate the two developers,
Right.
two developments.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I love now seeing like before people would say Jalapeno Bucks. Where is that? Now the trees are all gone, so you can see
Yeah.
it standing out. I hope it's going to stay, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they would almost build like a little planned Eastmark development around Jalapeno Bucks, like bring in their own little.
So they're going to build a little Agritopia event center there next to Jalapeno Bucks.
Oh.
And they'll have, event planning there, a Ramada. They'll have food trucks that can come up there for
Okay.
events. And so,
Oh.
and then obviously Jalapeno Bucks will be
Yeah.
there as well.
Like events for the public or.
Whatever, it can be weddings, it can be
Oh.
family reunions, it can be a school gathering,
Yeah.
it's unlimited.
Yeah. Is that the owners of Jalapeno Bucks doing that or?
His brother,
Oh, that's awesome.
the Burden family.
Okay. I love that so much. Okay, so speaking of water and all the crossings and the canals right there, I know you're heavily involved in the water. What is it? An association? The water.
For Salt River Project
Is that-
or irrigation.
You're on some kind of, you just know so much of our plans, Arizona's plans with the water.
Yeah, well, thank you, because I am involved with Salt River Project as a council member.
Okay.
And so water is a crucial component for Salt River Project, and delivering water, not only for us as, I'm still involved today as a farmer.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go back, digress a little bit.
Yeah.
But through my lifetime, I not only grew up in a farming family, but I got in the trades. So I did masonry and concrete work for decades while hired with Mesa Fire Department. So I was a Mesa firefighter for 31 years, plus a couple months. So I retired as a paramedic captain, special teams, and lots of other certifications.
Yeah.
But then before I retired, I got back into farming.
Okay.
So I actually farm today, a real life farmer, and use water every day on our farms. And so water is a really, component in our city, agriculturally.
Yeah, it's a big topic right now.
It's a fluid topic.
Yeah. Dad joker.
But water is so essential to everything we do in our community, because without water we can't grow as a city. But I want to let everybody be assured that we have a lot of water and good resources and a strong City of Mesa water portfolio. So while I was about 8 years ago, actually 9 years ago, one of the former council members said, "Mark, you should run for city council. You kind of know a lot about the District 1 and everything." So I did, and we won twice in a row. Mm-hmm. And so I'm termed out right now as a candidate for mayor of Mesa.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't it
really
have to quit?
No, yeah, I was termed out. The mayor's termed out. He's did a phenomenal job with our city and all the council members. So I just thought it's my time to throw my hat in the ring. So here's the hat.
Oh, don't lose the hat. I was going to say, I think you're a morning person like I am, because when I've texted you, I try to get you before everyone else does.
Someone texted me pretty early one morning, about 6 o'clock or so, and I've already been working.
Yeah, but your response is, "Well, I'm on a tractor, I'll get right back to you." And I was like, I wish I could just share this, and most of the people probably be like, "What? I have no idea that you farm."
Yeah.
It's so cool. So what do you farm?
So right now we're growing alfalfa. Okay. So we cut and bale that for the livestock. That's one of my niches is livestock and hay. There's no other farmers out there really that grow alfalfa. There's 2 of us left.
Okay.
In all of Mesa, just 2 of us left.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how do you find that balance though so you're a part of this farming community, mm-hmm. but then you do have interest and involved in development of Mesa. And I, as a realtor, always hear it's people that are embedded in Mesa, the older crowd, I guess you could say, that don't want to see a lot of change, or don't take the farmland and don't take down the orange trees, the orchards, even though, I've learned a lot about trees and their lifespan. So where do you fall on that, or how do you,
That's a good question, because that's a really delicate balance in our community, because it all goes back to foundational issues. Do we have the water?
Yeah.
Well, we have the land, so do we have the water that goes with the land? So one of the things I've really championed in my district, District 1, is that the proper developments are happening at the right times. And so collaboration between the developer, the neighborhoods, so when a zoning attorney or a developer comes to my office and says, "Mark, we want to talk to you about developing this infill area, maybe multifamily, maybe a patio home."
Tell people what infill means.
So we have lands inside Mesa that need to be developed. Mm-hmm. And so that would be called an infill development if it were to happen. Mm-hmm. And so obviously all land in Mesa is zoned to a certain zoning specification mm-hmm. and entitlements. And so if they have to change the zoning, sometimes that happens. Yeah. But what I like to do is bring everybody together, the neighborhood leadership, and mm-hmm. talk to the zoning attorney, to the developer, and we make the projects even bigger and better, or smaller and better, depends on where they're at, So then we look at all the infrastructure, we make sure the architecture, we make sure just the roadways and everything are compatible to their type of developments.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot to take in and to actually figure out where that balance is, right?
Well, what I like to do is I work for the people as an elected official. I work for you.
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time, and if we can make the projects bigger and better or smaller and better, well, that's our focus. And so
Yeah.
I listen to my constituents, and each one of us city council members have about 85,000 people in our respective districts.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. So what are you, speaking of development and all of the infill, do you have one that you're working on right now or something that you're excited about seeing, or if you get elected, that you really want and hope for to be involved in?
What has to transition is we need to be forward thinking as a city and make sure the right developments go in and the right properties.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about personal property rights, landowner rights, because the landowners have entitlements. I mean, they own their land.
Yeah.
And so depends on the development. Is it compatible with the neighborhoods? You know, economic development, you know, our public safety responses, can they respond appropriately to whatever is being built there?
Right.
Do we need to add more resources to the city's infrastructure to accommodate a build-in
Yeah.
infill development or something? So there's all kinds of components that go in. So what I've always championed is listening to my neighborhoods, the developers, the zoning attorneys, and making a pragmatic decision that the right thing is going in on the right property.
Yeah.
Now, as overall, the arching as a mayor, you listen to your council members who are working kind of boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And then other developers come and talk to the mayor as well. And I think for me, you know, not having filled that role yet, but hopefully I will after November 5th, that we can help make Mesa stronger, better. One of my favorite sayings is steady hand at the wheel.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I've championed is when you have Mark Freeman, I drive tractors, heavy equipment, and it takes a steady hand at the wheel driving all this equipment. You just can't wander around the field. So you've got to be focused and know what you're doing.
Yeah. So do you have one that you're excited about? A development that's coming? I know you have to, like you said, you work for the people, so you want to make sure that it makes sense and all those things. But just being a local, a native, seeing what we need in Mesa, do you have something that really gets you excited?
I really like quality projects in Mesa. We need to bring back more is more businesses in Mesa, because today we just did a summary of a balanced housing plan for the Mesa. 166,000 people per day leave Mesa and work outside of this city.
No way.
Yeah, and 115,000 come into Mesa. So that ratio is a little bit off. What you want is you want to have more of your businesses and people working in your community than leaving your community. So we need to raise that ratio up.
Okay.
So it's higher. So we're underperforming as far as that ratio in other areas.
Okay.
So with that said, we need a balanced housing program. So we need attainable housing. I think one of the hidden strengths of Mesa, which will be today and in the future, is and I'm going to use the word mobile home parks, because mobile home parks are aging. A lot of them are really old and not looking very well.
Yeah.
But we have some mobile home parks now are changing out all of the old mobile homes and putting in manufactured homes. And with the manufactured home, that's going to be attainable for somebody to buy. I talked to the manufacturing home office, and they said the first home is like $140,000 for a manufactured home in a mobile home park.
Yeah.
And they're transitioning their mobile home parks into putting in dog parks and pickleball courts and things for families.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have families, attainable housing for your generation homeowners,
Okay.
this might be the place to go to.
Yeah.
And so you can start at 140 and go up to like $400,000
Yeah.
in mobile home parks. And so I think that'll be attainable.
Okay.
And you talk about organic growth, Melissa. I think things that are exciting to me is seeing Mesa grow downtown. We have a lot of things happening down there. And we have Mesa Arts Center is, you know, the Southwest renowned. Do I need to stop at all?
No.
So I'll say that over you. So the
Yeah.
Southwest, the Mesa Arts Center is one of the Southwest renowned arts center in all the Southwest. So you have that there, and then you have a lot of breweries and other restaurants downtown, and it's growing. And so Mesa is growing slowly but organically, and I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, there's this like from an outsider, a bystander, they think it's so slow, right? But then there's some things like it actually, like in the last 2 years in downtown Mesa, feels like it's really picking up, and it's finally like, you know, the puzzle pieces are coming together, but that process is actually pretty long, right? Like, what is the overall vision in downtown Mesa? Or like, I don't know if there is one, or if you have one that you would like to see, but also that process, like in a Cliff's Notes, high level explanation of what does that process look like? Like, can a restaurant come in and say, hey, I want to submit plans to come in, and then how long does that take? Because there is a lot of availability down there right now, but there's so much going in too.
I think a lot of it, the restaurants, we need more restaurants downtown Mesa. I mean, for sure.
Yes.
And sit down restaurants.
And like higher
and
end sit down.
And sometimes these restaurant owners, they need to take a leap of faith that people will come. If you build it, they will
I was
come.
gonna say, like Joe, Agritopia. I'm always like, how do we get a Joe of Mesa? I'm serious, because I just feel like he was like, because downtown Gilbert, it was a ghost town for a long time.
So that grew organically, but you know, we could talk about, but the medium income between the two communities is vastly different between Gilbert and Mesa.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think if you look at where Gilbert grew downtown, it's only like 2 blocks. Well, Mesa is growing like a mile long, so that's 8 blocks.
Yeah.
And so you take all that in consideration, and so what our vision is we're putting multifamily developers trust Mesa now, so we're putting multifamily complexes and apartment complexes along the light rail corridor.
Okay.
And so that will bring more density to downtown. That's what we need, is more density, more people kind of walking and using multimodal.
Living and
Live, work, and play.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the snapshot of what we want.
Okay.
And so like today at Country Club and Main Street on the northwest corner, Chicanos por la Casa is building a huge...
What's it called?
Chicanos por la Casa.
Okay.
It's a market rate apartment complex.
Okay.
I think there's going to be over 200 different types of apartments there.
Yeah.
But we already have Eco Mesa in downtown Mesa at Pepper
really
Place in Robeson, and that's completely leased out.
Yeah.
We have the one at the Brown and Brown property there between Hibbert and Serine. It's a 1-block square. It's multifamily development. It's being leased out today.
Yeah.
And then we're working with the grid to get that final completion done. In all fairness, the grid ran into some financial issues, so work has stopped.
Is the grid the University in Mesa?
It's next to Pete's Fish and Chips.
Oh, okay.
That one there.
Okay.
It's really a contemporary type build out.
Yeah.
But so there's pressures on that. But anyway, it'll continue and get built
so the
out.
housing, bringing more live to the play area, the entertainment. Okay.
What I'd like to see is more some condominium type things done where we have actual ownership.
Right.
Instead, you know, not apartment, you know, are leased out and people there for a temporary amount of time and leave, come and go.
Yeah.
And so, which is good, but we need some more fixed housing there, like condos.
People investing there. Like they want to have ownership in downtown Mesa, besides these historic homes, which are amazing but very hard to get.
Yeah.
But you need like a condo or something easier and smaller and affordable down there.
Yeah, what I've championed in my district is have a variety of attainable housing. So really push for patio homes,
Yeah.
townhomes, single-family homes, multifamily, and executive type housing has
Yeah.
been in my district. So
Okay.
I've worked with the developers and builders out there. So we have a broad-based attainable housing, whether it's, and you know what's really weird, or what's happened today, is a home 3 years ago cost about, I'll just use round numbers, $280,000.
Okay.
Today, it's 58% higher,
Yeah.
so almost 500,000.
Yeah.
That's for your entry-level home. Now, who can afford that? Think of your average medium income. You're a realtor, you know that,
Right.
so you have to
I
figure
know.
that out.
Yeah, we are trying to, I have to stay in touch with so many lenders to stay on top of like what kind of creative financing can
Yeah.
we do here, or even ones that like, okay, I'm gonna have to get a mobile home, but then there's so many requirements that they can't pass because it was before 1979, or different things with financing. So yeah, we're
So
getting
you
creative
ought to
out there.
look at a niche as manufactured homes
Okay.
today will be something that will be attainable for your beginner home buyers, instead of buying, or like what we've done in the city is started accessory dwelling units, ADUs, yeah, for properties. That's not going to solve the problem because not everybody wants an ADU
Yeah.
in their
And
backyard.
it might be pricey still.
Well, yeah, I think even to build one of those, it's a couple $100,000, 250 plus.
Yeah, yeah.
So for the city of Mesa as a council, we're working on attainable housing, a variety of housing,
Okay.
and different types. So I think one of the other underserved areas is manufactured homes.
Yeah.
They're going in, and you walk into them, you think you're in a regular home.
Yeah.
And I know 2 mobile home parks. I'll use the word mobile home parks because they're transitioning to manufactured home parks.
Okay.
And
I feel like
it's
we
beautiful.
could like coin a better name for sure.
Yeah.
Like let's make it cool.
Well, they like manufactured homes. That's
Okay.
that's their coin word.
But like my age, like single lady, I want to be able to say like, come look at my loft, my condominium.
I don't know. Call it what you want.
I know, but that's where people like affordable housing. That's another word that is a trigger word for people, where they're like, oh, I don't want, this in my neighborhood. But it's like, no, it's affordable housing, or it's how it's transitioning now and what that looks like. It could be like a luxury apartment, and they're really nice and will bring in more business for our businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
And what we need to do is have, I will call it workforce housing. Keep our people who are employed work,
Yeah.
and it could be workers, that work. I'm just saying with their hands, and
Yeah.
have different types of your construction workers. I'm trying to think of a better word for that, because we have people. I mean, you have your students who've just graduated from college.
Okay.
They really don't have, and their first job, you graduate from college. We were just going over some of the metrics. Say you're paid $70,000 a year for your first job, and that might be kind of high, but I know it was in that. But it takes if that's the case, then where are you going to live on $70,000? As you know, as a realtor,
Yeah.
you're not going to buy a home
Yeah.
at that dollar amount.
Right.
So you're probably going to be renting an apartment
Mm-hmm.
at $2,000 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Or one
there's
bedroom.
24,000, 25,000 out of plus utilities,
Yeah.
maybe included or excluded. But then you have to save money up to buy your first home.
Right.
And they're talking it takes probably 3 to 5 years just to save monies for down payment on your first home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's also with like, hopefully you're guided and you have, a mentor or someone that is teaching you how to save money and be
Yeah.
able to not just at your first job, like, oh, I'm going to go to Tahiti still and spend all your money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's hard.
Well, I think in all fairness, a lot of people, there's a lot are going at. That's why we're really involved as a city in education in our community. And so we can help people understand their potential. So students, your high school students and others. So we're doing that. We're participating in programming, internships and mentorships for youth to go in. Some of them want to go to EVIT and have your career technical education and get out, you know, to be a nurse or to be a construction worker or a framer or welder, hairdresser, things like that. That's we have a lot of that. So Mesa is participating in all those programmings.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, is there something that you've done as a council member that that you're proud of, that really shined through, or that you're glad that it came to vision in Mesa that you were involved in?
Gosh, there's been a few. I think one of my favorite ones is just recently we stood up what's called the Small Business Builder Program.
Okay, is that in the studios?
At the studios. Have you done?
I'm posting about it this week. I went into
Is this a spoiler alert?
No, because I work from there all the time. Because it's so quiet and there's so many cool different spots. I want to do a podcast there because they have that amazing podcast in the basement area.
No, it's called the Lower Level.
Okay, the lower level. Okay, so there's the 3 different levels, and one's from ASU, right? And then the cities, yes. It's an amazing space. And aesthetically, it's beautiful, like the mid-century modern. They did a really, really nice job. And the history behind it, like being the original library. Super cool that they left like a lot of the pieces there. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has my
Did you go to the library when it was there?
Am I that old?
No, you're that young. Yeah, of course you did.
No. Did I? I remember going to the one across the street.
Oh, so you're that young.
Yes.
Okay, well then I'm dating myself.
Go ask your daughter that same question and see her response.
So you went to the library across the street.
Yeah.
So the small business program that we have is really great, and we continue to uplift our small business community in conjunction with our economic development department. I think that's crucial.
Yeah.
Just to strengthen, bringing more businesses to downtown Mesa.
Yeah.
I think is essential. But helping the new entrepreneurship, those that want to move forward and they don't really know how, or they don't have the office space. Here you go. It's free.
Yeah, it's amazing. I, as an entrepreneur and business owner, even though I have a fully functioning business, that's why I went there too, because of they are so knowledgeable. And Lynn, I think, who has worked there when I've gone, she is like, if I don't know this answer, let me connect you to someone. And just exploring their website, like I had to rebrand a new design company and getting in an LLC. And literally, I just went to their website how do I do this? Again, because before having a business owner or a business partner, she did that part. And I'm more of the creative
type.
And so I was like, okay, here I go. And they have a checklist, it's great. Yeah. And it doesn't matter where you are in your business, but just being a business owner, they're so informative. And being able to go somewhere and work for free, that they have like a kitchen, you can use their copy machine, printer. They have really cool spaces.
Computers.
Yeah.
I think you asked me, one of the challenges is in downtown Mesa. So you have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
But I think in the future, I might advocate for a road show. We take it out through the community and go to different venues. I mean, we can go to like the Dobson Ranch Library.
Okay.
We can go to other libraries out in Mesa and coordinate with other Red Mountain Library and have a road show and show businesses what's really involved, and then they can come to the main portion there at the studios.
That'd be so cool.
Do you remember the address? Am I putting you on the spot?
No. You know it though, because you know every street from being a firefighter, right? Like you had to memorize the grid of
We
Mesa.
did memorize it. That was one of our tests.
So it's off of First, right? Is it First?
59. Let me help you. 59 East First Street.
There you go. I got
And it
First.
has a neon sign on the side that says studios. In fact, we're doing a neon sign exhibit there by the Post. Have you been to the Post yet?
So cool. I'm gonna get a tour soon from Jeffrey Robbins. His new office went upstairs,
yeah.
right? And I've gone to the market. On Sundays they have a farmer's market in there. So that's when I've gone in.
So to the west of the Post, we're creating a neon garden there. So we're taking all the neon signage that was in Mesa over decades,
Yeah.
and we're going to uplift it and post it all out there. So as kids and stuff, and myself, as we can go there and reminisce.
Really?
And have
like it's permanent?
It'll be permanent.
That's what they're
With
doing
the parking
back there.
area. Yeah, it'll
That's
be
so
beautiful.
Cool. Okay, I saw like the fence go up, and they're doing some stuff down there.
So we took some of our American Rescue Plan Act dollars, ARPA money we call it for short.
Okay.
And so we did a lot of the renovations to the Post, to the studios.
So cool.
And federal dollars we got. And so we've used monies in other capacities, but we build up those and renovated them. So it's an event center. Basically the Post is just a really nice event center.
Yeah, I saw some weddings maybe there, right?
You can have weddings, yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I like it. I just went to the opening of the Niles new sign.
The marquee there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that you can like now walk under it, and it's bright, and
I drove by that this morning.
Yeah.
Because I
At
wasn't
night
able
it's
to.
so nice.
We need to go up there.
Yeah, it really I mean, there's downtown Mesa is so big, and because it's like developing organically, that there's these little dark pockets still. So as a lady walking from place to place in the dark, it was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Like all these new signs going up and the lights and stuff. It's really nice now.
Well, you need to take your German Shepherd with you. And Petalhaus is opening up there at Robeson and Main Street.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready, and they don't have a kitchen, but they are pet friendly.
Okay.
And so you can bring that Rottweiler if you want.
Yeah, that Rottweiler. When will we get someone to come in with an amazing kitchen? We need more restaurants, like you said.
So actually, we are investing, the City of Mesa is investing in a culinary kitchen.
Okay.
And it'll be downtown Mesa. So we purchased one of the old buildings.
Okay.
And so those that want to be chefs, entrepreneurs, chefs, and cooks can go there, and it'll be like a marketplace. You'll have the different chefs and cooks there cooking stuff, and so you'll have a variety of food. So that's it, using our ARPA dollars. Yeah, it's going to be called Zion's Marketplace. It used to be Zion's Mercantile. It used to be back in the beginning of Mesa. It was a mercantile building called Zion's Mercantile.
Okay.
Historically, that building was. So we're rebranding
Which building
it.
is it?
Yeah, you would ask me that question. It's on Main Street, west of Center Street.
Okay.
No, west of McDonald. Anyway, between Center Street and Robeson.
Around there.
Yeah.
That's so
south side.
exciting. I love that. And I saw City Hall's almost done.
City Hall we're having a grand opening November 21st.
November 21st? I'm all, Karen, put that in the calendar.
Let me check the date, but I think it'll be Thursday, maybe.
Okay. So since we're in downtown Mesa, and I just have this like calling right now for it. I don't know why, but like my heartbeat is there right now. I want to like see it grow in the best kind of way, not like, where some people are like, I don't want to bring in, like, someone was upset at Milano's talking about that there's new apartments maybe going in, and there's always like some complaints, but also I want it to survive, right? Like I want it to thrive, not just survive. But a lot of when I bring people to downtown Mesa, it's my new thing, my favorite thing. Like every time I have a meeting, I'm like, I pick a new place down there, and every time someone comes, they're like, I had no idea. It's really cool. But like parking, especially during different events, because there's like the MAC, there's big events going on the Nile, so all of a sudden it could be where there isn't that much parking, but with all these new multifamily housing or apartments coming in, what does City of Mesa or what do you see with like the parking happening?
So yes, we recognize the fact that we have ample parking. So we have like 5,000 plus spaces, but it's so spread out.
Yeah.
And people don't know what parking area is available to park in. So
Yeah.
what we're creating today is an app that will allow people to figure out which parking area is best suited for them and go
Okay.
park there.
Okay.
And then one of the things we purchased, the city of Mesa purchased the Brown and Brown parking garage, the car garage across the street
Okay.
at Hibbert and Main Street.
Okay.
And so we're right now, we just approved a contract to go in and make improvements to it. So all the city employees that park in 4 different garages will now be combined into one garage and open up more public parking downtown area into our
Okay.
garages. So
That's cool.
give us a year,
Okay.
and then it'll be more parking available, because
Yeah.
that's one of the chief complaints we hear is, where do I park?
Yeah.
Well, and the signage is not very good either.
No. Yeah.
So we need public parking, free, downtown.
And because a lot of people don't know like how downtown Mesa was originally drawn out, I believe, and I don't know anything, but it is so wide and vast, and there's so much space there. People don't realize that you can go behind all these buildings, and there's plenty of parking usually, and there's access to most of these businesses from the backside, which is so cool and unique that a lot of other downtowns don't have. Is that true? Like behind, I don't know if you're supposed to, but that's where I typically park, is behind.
No, that's where you're supposed to. In fact, if it's a city-owned property, I'm going to use Eco Mesa as an example. So Eco Mesa, you want to build your multifamily apartment complex market rate.
Okay.
You have to maintain the public parking below. So there was like, I'm going to use 78 spaces, 76 or 78. So during the construction, that was all, they built the apartment complex up. We retain public parking below.
Okay.
So we keep that, and then they add whatever parking they want, different decks above that. So if it's a city-owned asset, we keep public parking in play.
Okay.
And they don't use it as part of we still own that property.
Okay. How do you feel about, or do you see anything that's coming in down there where, let's go back to Joe, like is it called the Epicenter that he built? Where on the first floor, it's all retail and businesses and parking, and then the housing above that. How do you feel about that? Like, I feel like that would be very successful in downtown Mesa, especially if we could get that on Main Street. That would be really nice.
So yeah, we're following that same concept, because retail and commercial is if you're going to build on Main Street, you have to retain a certain percentage of retail and commercial on your property. And so what we did is we did an allowance and a small exception to allow apartment living at a certain percent on the ground floor, because before we said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But we felt like that was a disservice to the developer. So they have a time limit on that, or a year. So in other words, we want to bring more retail and commercial office space to downtown Mesa on the first floor, and then you can build your apartments or whatever condos above it. And so we have allowed allowance and exception to allow some deviation from that.
Okay.
So allow them to get a little ROI, but they're building their ground floors to commercial standards, so that's higher, 10-foot high ceiling heights and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. I love that so much. How do we get these developers and investors to, like, what are the incentives to come to downtown Mesa?
We're one of the best cities in the United States to live in.
Yeah.
Our quality of life is exceptional.
Yeah.
We have the best infrastructure for that. I mean, our utilities. We want to invite people to come to downtown Mesa, and it's not a leap of faith anymore.
Yeah.
We have a proven record, and we have some older buildings that need a fresh uplift too.
Yeah.
And please come and purchase or lease the buildings out and put your business in there.
Yeah.
We'll support you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of charm. There's a lot of charm, like the historic buildings, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like the mix. They could bring something in new, but keep a little bit of the historic, right?
What's your favorite Thai food place downtown Mesa?
Isn't there only Nunthapor? Is that how you say it?
Nunthapor.
Yeah, Nunthapor.
Mrs. Nunthapor.
Yeah, I haven't met her.
She's awesome. She's cooking almost all the time.
Really?
But yeah, she's just a great lady who has overcome, COVID and maintained her business downtown. She almost lost it.
Oh.
But if you want great Thai food,
yeah,
thumbs
that's the
up.
place.
Two
Okay,
thumbs
so
up.
that's what I was gonna say. Usually I wrap up our podcast with rapid fire questions. Where's your favorite place to eat in Mesa? Or a hidden gem that someone just needs to try. And don't be a gatekeeper. Don't keep it a secret. Some people don't like to share because then they're like, no, I don't want anyone to know. I don't want it to get busy. I don't want them to raise their prices.
Well, that's a good question, Melissa, because it depends on the palate of the day.
Okay.
So I like Hope's Fry Bread on Mesa
Okay.
Drive, the 100 block of South Mesa Drive.
Yeah.
I like, if I want Mexican food, I go to Blue Adobe Grill.
Oh, okay.
I like my standard Mexican food. Serrano's is a favorite. Unfortunately, El Charro closed.
Oh, yeah.
The family, after decades, like 75 years of being open,
Yeah.
no longer.
I saw they're going to have a sale with all their furniture soon.
Yeah, I cried. You know why?
Why?
Because they do RC on tap. Sorry.
I
But
cried.
they're one of the few restaurants that has RC on tap. But
RC is still around?
Hilarious.
Royal Crown Cola.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay,
so
so
funny.
you need to go to Empanadas
Oh,
at
yeah.
First Ave and Hibbert.
Yeah.
They have RC on tap. That's my go-to now.
Okay. And then,
Wait.
oh,
I'm
okay.
not done.
Did it.
Downtown, we like Gus's Fried Chicken.
My mom's favorite.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I know. I wish I could eat it. I'm gluten and dairy free. I know. We won't talk
But a
about it.
chicken isn't dairy.
It has gluten.
Really?
Yeah. I peel it off and then I eat it.
Okay. Well, that's,
Okay, but it's amazing.
Okay. Sorry
Yes.
about the.
No.
digress.
Keep going.
We
What
like.
about dessert?
Yeah, what about where do you go for shaved ice and all the
It's
desserts?
Well,
gluten-free too.
First of all, it's shave ice.
Oh,
Yes.
no D.
There's no D in it because when you go to Hawaii and you get shave ice, you don't get shaved ice.
Oh,
You get your face shaved, but
Yeah.
you don't get shaved ice shaved.
okay. I learn something new every day.
So yeah, we're here at Marina's
Yeah.
Shave Ice restaurant here at 855 West University, number 8. If you want
I like
shave
those
ice,
numbers.
this is awesome. She comes to our farm when we have our farmers market
Really?
going. She has a food truck. You can
Oh.
call and check with her on events.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah,
I love it. It's super duper.
that's where we're
cute.
at today. Is in.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting with Marina and having
Yeah.
her.
Thank you,
your
Marina,
podcast
for
here.
letting us.
Mark loves it here because we make all our flavors in-house.
Is there an RC flavor?
You know what?
You should
we
try
have
it.
a cola flavor, but I think I need to get RC on tap.
And call it the Freeman.
Call it the Freeman. I love that.
I would be here more often.
I know. Only
you
if
know
you.
what? That's the secret.
I'm like, I want to create the Mel though.
If you want Mark Freeman on your side, get RC, you guys.
That is so funny.
It is.
I love that. Yes. Well, we're definitely gonna do some tastings here.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So, any other places you want to eat or recommend to eat?
We really like, as well, kind of an all-American is Blue 32 at
Oh.
Gilbert McKellops. Have you eaten there?
The salmon salad is my favorite.
Yeah,
So good.
they're a family-owned restaurant.
Yeah.
I like support family-owned restaurants like Marina and her family. I've known for
Yeah.
decades, her
Okay.
parents and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
good family friends.
Yeah.
Great food. We like Cafe Mix
So
at
good.
Greenfield and
Greek.
McKellops.
The best Greek ever. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, they're family owned. They also have a breakfast restaurant
Oh, they do?
over at McKellops in Wrecker area.
I didn't know that.
But one of my all-time, I have to do a shout out to Mulgrave, is the Hen House at Riverview
Oh,
at 805 North Dobson.
how do you remember all these numbers?
It-
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. And now we've talked about this part of Mesa. If you want a pancake, that is, I know you'd probably
I
eat
mean,
it for
I
a
will
week. Oh, wait,
cheat.
that's gluten-free.
I'll cheat sometimes. Okay, keep
Okay.
going.
I'll take them.
This pancake is literally this big around,
Okay.
Melissa.
Yes.
It fills the whole
My
plate.
kids will be.
There's
thrilled.
not enough syrup to put on it.
Okay. Where?
805 North Dobson.
Oh, that's. Oh, the hen.
The Hen House.
Okay.
And they have 2 locations in Gilbert.
Okay.
But we don't go to Gilbert anymore. We stay in Mesa.
Yeah. Yeah. Support your where you live.
Local restaurant. Now,
Right.
the other one I want to say is a good friend of ours. He opened up Point 22 Tavern and Restaurant at Eastmark.
Oh.
The 9300 block of East Cadence by the QT. There's a Burger King.
I saw that.
And Black Rock, I think, coffee shop.
Yeah.
Go see Robert Webb at Point 22. In
Okay.
fact, we're going to be out there tomorrow night.
Fun.
Actually, Wednesday night.
This will not air till who knows when.
But you can come out, you
yeah,
can bring your realtor friends
Yeah.
out there.
for
Do
sure.
you know any people out that way?
Of course, yeah. Like I've moved a lot of people over there. It's because everything's there. Everyone gets a golf cart, and then you never have to leave. That planned community is doing amazing. They did a really good job with planning that. Okay, one last thing because I know we're over on time, but where is a hidden gem in Mesa that someone visiting Mesa, or even that's just like needs to get out and somewhere to hike, or something they need to know about that you've ran all over the place?
I do.
Where's
That's
the
one of
hidden
my
gem?
problems. I like people, if you're into museums, I
Okay.
like people to go to the Mesa Historical Museum
Okay.
in downtown Lehigh.
Oh yeah.
It's the easiest address you'll ever remember.
Let's hear it.
2345 North Horn.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty simple.
Horn and Lehigh Road.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it used to be one of the first schools in the valley here,
Yeah.
built in the 1910 or something like that. So one of the first schools. But as far as an activity, I would say go out to the river.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of places just to see the ambiance of the river.
Horses,
Yeah, the wild horses there at the Beeline and the Salt River.
paddleboard.
Mhm.
I had desert paddleboards on my podcast. Sarah, she's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
That
even
was-
though she's not giving tours, but you can go hang out with her at the river on some paddleboards.
We have some of the best pickleball courts in the valley.
Yeah.
We just opened up some new ones. We have the Red Mountain Multi-Generational Center on Adobe East of Power Road. That's phenomenal. Soccer fields, we opened up new soccer fields. Youth sports, quality of life. I mean, you go on Mesa Arts Center. I would encourage you to just do a Google search
Yeah.
about Mesa activities. Visit Mesa is another one. People forget about Visit Mesa. There are tourism industry.
Yeah.
So if tourists are coming to Mesa, Mark Garcia and his group are phenomenal. And we have PBR bull riding out here occasionally, sometimes in Queen Creek. I wish monster truck rallies were close by, but they're not. They're at the
don't.
State Farm Stadium.
That's so funny. Yeah,
But
there's
to wrap up, Mesa is fully encompassed. We have a lot of great activities here.
yeah. It's
Thanks
very-
for hosting me.
Yeah, thank you for
Or
coming
me
on.
hosting
and-
you, or whatever we're doing.
I mean, thank you for Marina hosting us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, love
Shave ice.
Shave ice.
We're gonna have some and celebrate. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.